Who wants to do questions? Who wants to go to lunch? Everyone. Okay. Well, how about we have a question for perhaps the brain biopsy, stereotactic brain biopsy, anyone? What about cerebral metastasis? Yep. Come up.
I have questions to Dr. Anwar with the ultrasound. So you mean the ultrasound can correct the brain shifts during the surgery? But I mean, is the automatically or we have to do it by researchers? So for each time we use ultrasound during we remove the tumor, the brain shifts. So how can the machine can do the autocorrect or you do by yourself? And the second question, I mean, there's sometimes we use ultrasound without navigation and very difficult to differentiate the tumor residues and the artifact from the blood or hemostasis materials. How can you experience about that? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. So the first question, I'll just stand at the front, so not giving my back to the professor. The first question is regarding shift and navigation errors. Actually, the short answer to that is that the computer does it for you. So the Brainlab machine, to my understanding, is the only machine that does that. And Uli's not here to correct me, but I think it's the only machine that does that. So the principle is that you get an ultrasound sweep. That's not a 2D image like I'm guessing most of you use it at the moment. This is a 3D image. So the computer takes all the images, gives you a 3D images, and it puts it into the correct location on the MRI scan, on the preoperative MRI scan, and then it will automatically adjust for shift. So now you are navigating to the correct location. And every time through the case you do a sweep, it will correct, it will correct, it will correct. So if the shift keeps changing, it will continue to change with you. So you're always navigating to the correct location. So the computer is automatic. But I have to admit the automatic process is only new in the last 3 months. It's a new Brainlab feature. Your second question regarding how can you tell the difference between artifact, I didn't go into this on purpose because of the time factor, but yes, there is degradation of image or artifacts in the bottom of the cavity. It's very hard to differentiate this from residual tumor. With time, what you will do is two things. First of all, the image helps you because it puts it in the correct location on the MRI scanner. So you can overlap the two images and see what's tumor and what's not. So the Brainlab helps you with that. The other very important factor is when you're doing an ultrasound sweep, you don't just sweep the tumor. You've got to sweep beyond the tumor both sides. So what you're now looking for is the relationship of surrounding anatomy to your tumor margin. So when you look at your cavity at the end, and if you've got blood there, it will be bright. You want to know, is that blood or is that tumor? You will look at the relationship between that cavity and the nearest sulcus or the tentorium cerebelli or the falx cerebri, and that relationship doesn't change. So if you've now got a centimeter, when before you had a centimeter, you're at your margin. If you've still got 2 centimeters, when before you had a centimeter, you still have to do more resection. The relationship doesn't change. So you look at the relationships, you look at the Brainlab MRI scan, you look at the overlap, and between those two factors, you will adapt.
What's the length of learning curve, do you think, for someone who hasn't used ultrasound before?
Question. So like I said, there is a learning curve. It will take you time to adapt your eye to that image. The Brainlab, again, does make that very easy for you because you can shift between MRI and ultrasound, like I showed you with that image. So it does make it easy for your eye. But really, when I started learning it, I didn't use the Brainlab. I used a very a less effective version. And I think it took me maybe 10 or 15 cases before I really felt comfortable to start to understand what I'm seeing. And that's to start to understand. It does take some time.
Thank you. Any other questions, anyone, for Professor Shashan? Cerebral metastasis? Oh, he's gone. Oh. Okay. Optic pathway glomas? Okay, I think we're going to go to lunch. See you at 2 o'clock, is it? Yeah, 2 o'clock, please.